Right, moving on to the next session. We have the session on advanced technologies in accelerating innovation, and we have Mr. Raj Sethuraman, Chief Technology Officer at Wolters Kluwer. Before I hand over the session to him, a brief introduction about him. As CTO, Raj Sethuraman oversees all product engineering and software development activities as a member of executive management team. Raj brings substantial leadership experience in managing software development teams with global companies, including Intuit, United Healthcare Group, Brillo, and Agilent Technology. Raj is a graduate of Harvard Business School's Advanced Management Program. He earned his MBA from the University of Southern California, a Master of Science from the HJC School of Engineering in Mysore, India, and a Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Instrumentation from Annamalai University in Chidambaram. The floor is all yours, Raj.
Wow, that was a long introduction. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I know I stand between you and the lunch, so let me try again. Good afternoon, everyone. That's great. So, good. I'm super excited to be here this afternoon. You must be wondering why a CTO of a multinational firm like Wolters Kluwer is talking to the audience. In the course of next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to focus on 3 areas. I want to just start with who are we and what we do. And the second one is, based on my experience in the enterprise world, I wanted to talk about how advanced technologies can accelerate innovation. I'm just not going to talk about the success, but also I want to share something about the failures and the lessons I learned out of it. And the last one is I wanted to share a quick example of how we accelerate innovation at Wolters Kluwer using AI and machine learning. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Are you all with me? Yeah. Perfect. Wolters Kluwer, if you look at Wolters Kluwer globally, we are a $4+ billion revenue organization, public firm, based in Amsterdam, Netherlands. We have a very strong heritage. The company was founded in 1836, and we have 4 primary business divisions. The first one is healthcare, and one of the most renowned products in the healthcare is UpToDate. That helps the medical professionals and clinical professionals to follow the best practices. In fact, that product is quite well known in India, and it's one of the fast moving. The second one is tax and accounting business division. If you are an accountant and you are filing tax on behalf of your customers, we have a suite of products that help us to file those taxes and manage the compliance. The third business division we have is legal and regulatory. This is a rule of law that helps our customers to manage on a global basis and also workflow solutions around law firms. The last one is GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, that helps our customers to manage governance, risks, and compliance again on a global basis. ELM, Enterprise Legal Management, is a part of GRC business that where I work as a CTO. And we are a market leader in enterprise legal management space. So what we do is, for all corporate legal departments of Fortune 500 companies, we offer tools and capabilities that would help them to manage their day-to-day workflow and also how they manage their spend with external law firms. So that's what we do. As I said, we have a strong heritage of such a long time, ever since we were founded in 1836. But we operate like a startup in terms of business agility, customer centricity, and delivering value. You have been hearing from the previous sessions how the advanced technologies are disrupting the marketplace, and we are one of the front runners in adapting and making sure we constantly reimagine ourselves to deliver value to our customers. So that's a brief background. With that said, let me switch the gears to advanced technologies in accelerating innovation. The most common words that you must have heard or you must be hearing in today's world is technology, customer, and disruption. Every day things are changing. You are talking about AI, blockchain, IoT, virtual reality, the list goes on and on, right? But what makes sense, whether it's a large corporation or whether it's a startup, is how you can embed these technologies into your core workflow of the products, harness them, that matters most to the customer. So that's the key word. It's not like you say that I use AI as opposed to how you leverage the technology to deliver value to your customers. The second one is customers. We operate in B2B and also B2C world, but these days, the customers want the application to be very similar to their personalized experience with their B2C applications. Whether it's Facebook or iPhone, whatever it is, they want their business applications to be so reliable like their personal experience. And customers are also trying to benchmark your product and offerings against the best in class. So their expectations are growing. And the third one is you need to provide a personalized experience for your customers. Whether it's a role-based or persona-based, what it is going to do for me, whether it's right for me, is a key question. The last one is disruption. I don't have to talk about it. Either you have to disrupt or you will get disrupted and you get behind. So these three keywords, when I think about acceleration and technologies, that's what it comes to me. Now, we can talk about this, but how the market is reacting, right? If you talk to the research firms in the United States, one thing I did a few weeks ago in New York, 3 data points. One is $2.1 trillion will be spent by 2020 on platform. Huge. The spend on AI is going to increase from 12.5 billion to 58 billion by 2021. The third one is 75% of the enterprises are going to become AI-oriented in next 5 years. Big data is going to drive 12% of the sales in next 5 years. This world is changing. I don't know whether this data is going to stay intact in next 3 months or 4 months, but what I'm trying to say is when things are changing, the market is reacting to it. I know there are several leaders from startup and enterprises sitting here in the audience. So what does it mean to us? AI is not a solution for customers. In my experience, the biggest lesson I learned is how you can leverage AI to drive efficiency and productivity within your organization. Because it has value drivers from internal and external. From internal standpoint, if you try to optimize your processes, workflow, try to automate it, it's a huge value. Of course, you can generate a lot of insights for your customers using AI that's going to have a tick on your bottom line as well as the revenue. But the key is understand it has both internal and external driver. I would like to simply categorize them into 3 buckets. When it comes to AI and machine learning, the very first one is process automation. Very simple. Try to see how you can apply this technology to your automation. And you need to distinguish value-added and non-value-added services when you look into the automation. And AI can definitely move the needle when it comes to the value-added processes. The next one is cognitive insights. You can have a lot of data. Data is the underpinning. But once you have data, how you can generate insights from those data and apply those insights for your customers, it's huge. You can't talk about data, talk about AI without data. So that's the second one, cognitive insights. The third one is cognitive interaction. Now you have data, you have process automation. When your customers use your products, how you can bring that to life by having those key decision points in your products, where customers can make decisions using these technologies. So the way how I would like to talk about AI is 2 things. From my journey line is understand these 3 buckets and see how you can apply AI. Don't try to go and say AI is an answer. It's not an answer, it's a question. You need to understand that question very well to apply. The second one is, the lesson I learned is resources. Companies try to move forward in hiring resources from the market. Hey, we need to buy somebody with machine learning, RPA, and things like that. But there is a secret. If you want to get best out of your talent, you need to also train your existing resources on those technologies. At Wolters Kluwer's, we believe in one thing called expert solution with deep expertise. You need to have someone who can understand your domain very well so that you know how you can solve the unsolved areas and tap the value of AI. Make sense? So that's very important. So you need to understand the mix and match. The second one I wanted to briefly talk about from the technology standpoint is platform. I know we have several product people sitting here. The world is moving from product to platform. I talked about the investment in that area. Platform is just not the ecosystem. Platform, in my view, has two components. The first one is business platform. The second one is technology platform. When you talk about technology platform, it's the foundation. You can talk about microservices, APIs, and such things. So that would create the strong foundation. Now, with that foundation, you expose your business capabilities to your partners, to your customers, to your third-party vendors. That creates the network effort for you to grow your business. Sometimes in my journey, I try to always push hard on technology platform without understanding the business nature. So in order for you to be successful with the platform to drive the innovation, you need to focus on both business platform and technology platform. You take the most successful companies on the planet. Let it be eBay, let it be Google, let it be Amazon. They are quite successful in terms of fast moving. They are quite successful in terms of innovation because they have truly married the business and technology platform. The third area that I wanted to talk about is, which you all know, is data, right? We all have been talking about data forever. But one thing I wanted to say from my experience is, sometimes we try to get data from several directions. And we try to get the data, we try to use analytics, you try to use AI and all those things. But in the bright hindsight, one thing I learned in my life is, before you start applying the data, you need to understand the data from the value add and non-value add standpoint. If you don't do that experiment well ahead in the life cycle, then you are spending your time and effort before understanding what is it out there. So I'll give you an example. When you have this data in today's world, the data is growing, right? So try to understand again, when you have the data, how the data can help you from your business standpoint and how that data can help you to drive the business outcomes when it comes to profit, revenue, and also generating the customer experience. So that's the core of the data. So to make it simple, what I would say to all of you is, curation and enrichment of data is key, not the analytics and AI. If you enrich your data before you start using AI, the value you would be getting for sure would be much more higher than what you are going to get without using. So advanced technologies in accelerating innovation, we have several things. Again, I can talk about blockchain, IoT, and all those things. But I wanted to focus specifically on the three areas like AI, machine learning, platform, and data today. And I'm sure that you all must have already been on the journey that's going to help you grow your organization. With that said, I wanted to draw a few takeaways to close my conversation here. The first one is contextual inquiry. Companies are successful not because they are using AI. Companies are successful because they know how to use AI. You need to sit by your customer to understand what exactly they are facing in terms of challenges. As Steve Jobs mentioned, your customers are not there to tell you what the problem is. You need to clearly unlock and understand what exactly the challenge is. You can't do that without you sitting next to them and understand how they use your products. You don't bring them to your office. You go, whether it's Starbucks or something, sit by them and see how they use your products and how effectively they don't know what to ask for. That's your job. The second one is I would certainly say is experimentation. AI, machine learning, and all those things, it requires some investment upfront. Don't expect these technologies to generate revenue and profit overnight. Again, I'm calling this as an investment, not expense, because you can bring them to life over a period of time, but in order to do that, you need to go for the right level of experimentation. And that's the big thing. You have to set and manage the expectations if you are a technology leader to your business that we need to understand the use cases and experiment before we declare that this is going to move the needle. The last one is self-disruption. If you want to, in the last session, we heard about you need to move fast, but how can you view yourself like how 10 of your competitors view today? If you do that, you know how to disrupt yourself, and that's very important. Now, I'm going to close with one example. Probably, as I said, I'm not going to rely heavily on PowerPoint here. We are having a product at Wolters Kluwer's called Legal View Bill Analyzer. This is a classic example of using AI. AI is not the solution here, but we are combining the power of data, AI, and human experts. Whenever a corporate legal department establish a relationship with law firms, they sign the contract and they tell the law firms they need to follow the billing guidelines, saying that they can't bill more than 8 hours or 12 hours based on the role, based on the location, so that's the billing guidelines. Now, once these billing guidelines are set up, law firms are expected to invoice the customers based on the guidelines. When the guidelines are established, when the invoices are sent, the corporate legal departments have manual process to look at the invoices, and they look for some deviations from the guidelines and make sure that the law firms are compliant or not with those guidelines. It was generating close to 0.5 to 1% of savings based on that review of invoices from corporate legal department. We totally reimagined that. You can find that Legal View Bill Analyzer. We are using the power of AI there. Now, by using the AI and human experts, again, try to always see how you can combine both. Today, we are generating the total savings from 6% to 12%. It's a significant surge compared to where it was in the past. So that's a classic example, and it was a white space, right? We had to go to the customers, understand where there could be a potential gain, and that's exactly how we applied the lessons learned. So I'm connecting the dots with what I started with, and I hope this session was useful to every one of you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks.